What's up, Austin?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going good, man. How are you feeling right now? We ready for the showdown?
Yeah. Honestly, we've just been riding outdoors this week, so we're kind of on to. I mean, obviously, yeah, we have the showdowns this weekend, but we're kind of shifted focus a little bit onto outdoors already. So we're kind of already started kind of down that road because we haven't really done any testing for outdoors either. So that's kind of, I guess we're kind of going to start that now. But yeah, I'm ready for it.
You've been pretty open about working on building confidence and, just dealing with the injuries, coming back from the injuries and trying to just get your confidence back. So how has that been tougher than you expected?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I feel like I kind of have at least, well, I don't know if 100% moved past that or got that out or whatever, or figured that out. But it was definitely more at the forefront at like the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like probably one of the, I guess, main roadblocks that I was kind of running into was just I guess the fear or just the second thought, like just having that second thought, like that's kind of what's crazy is that's kind of all it takes is for you to just have a second thought. If you have to think twice about anything in this sport, that's all it takes. Like, do I want to go this rut or that rut? You don't have time to think about that stuff while you're on the track. Like as simple as that, you don't have time to think about that. Or if somebody comes over on you in a rhythm section and you are like, ooh, should I check up or should I still hit this? You don't have time. You just have to just act straight off of just instinct. And that's what I was second guessing and thinking about stuff too much. But if you're doing that at multiple times throughout the lap or the race or whatever, like that's where you lose time and that's where you lose confidence and all that stuff. But my riding has definitely been a lot better over the past, like probably 3 races or so. It's definitely got better as in like I started to show up in the top 5 and practice and had some, P2s, P3s, stuff like that in practice.
Yep.
Would go to the top every now and then. So I kind of started to show that speed where at the beginning of the year, everything was kind of off. Like the speed was off, the starts were off, the I guess like pace in the race was off, and the fitness wasn't like there was kind of, I feel like a few things were off, and now I feel like all of that's kind of like definitely came together a lot more. I think my first showing of that was at like the first East-West shootout, whatever that was, because I was P1 in the first practice session, so it was like, okay, sick. But then racing came around and I was not near as good, either in the heat race or the main. Okay, race later, a couple races later, still qualifying good. Okay, I put together a decent heat race. Okay, well now, and then the main still wasn't. The riding at the last race all day long in the main, everything was definitely a lot better. Definitely on pace with where I need to be. Like after the race, looking at lap times, I was kind of like a top 5 lap, my lap times throughout the race were kind of top 5 times. So that's definitely like everything it's been slow, and that's why the season hasn't been good, because the last thing to kind of come has been the results, but the riding has gotten better, and there's been certain things throughout the year that have like pretty much everything has improved from what it was in the first race.
Yeah, you've had moments for sure where like, oh, hey, there's Austin, right? And I think you kind of touched on landing on some tough blocks, some silly little falls, and tangled with some of the other riders in the back of the pack that you're not used to racing with. And I would assume that comes from exactly what you just said, a little bit of second guessing, not having the confidence to shoot the gap. And then we see, but really, I feel like if you look at it overall, it's been a fairly successful season considering what you're coming off of, finishing healthy. I think in 24 and 23, you only finished 2 races. So if you take everything into account, you have positives.
Just going back to what you said at first, the shooting the gap and riding with all those guys that I'm kind of not familiar with. That has been another kind of thing where I'm riding with, with 5th to 12th place guys or 7th to 10th place, wherever that's been for a lot of the season. Those guys ride completely different than the guys in the front do. Those guys will run it up the inside, hit you, then get sketchy. Like they don't have it's almost like they just don't care if they take you out and they go down as well, because like the front guys, like, yeah, they'll run it in on you, but typically it's not going to be something stupid that could take themselves out as well. Where all the guys I've been riding with, I think they turn their brain off, but not in the good way. That's made the kind of whole riding cautious and that whole mindset, like, be careful, don't go down, make the second guessing. That's made it that much worse, which I don't have anybody to blame except for myself. Like I need to get better starts and I need to not be back there with those guys. But the reality is I have been back there with those guys, back to the making it through the season healthy. I mean, that this year was a goal just as much as I would say winning a championship, winning races, doing that stuff. The goal of making it through the season was just as high, if not higher, than that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, yes, that it's still a goal to get results and to be a guy like running up front, battling for podiums, wins, whatever. But with my history, making it through a whole season healthy, I would say that was probably a bigger goal than anything else. It's the first time since 2020 that I've made it to the last race. I know people are going to look back on this year and be like, oh, it was a bust year, was as far as Supercross goes, whatever. And if I can make it through the last race, that'll be the first time ever that I've raced every Supercross race of the season.
Is the team on the same page as you? Are they kind of okay with that mentality? Because I have heard, like, during the week, you're one of the fastest guys a lot of the time. Are they okay with it? Are they getting a little frustrated? Have you felt any heat?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've definitely felt a little bit of heat. Not a crazy amount, just that, I kind of, and that's kind of what I have to go back and remind them a little bit is like, hey guys, like before I signed like with you guys, and because I flew out here and kind of just met everybody and got a tour of everything and just kind of checked everything out before I signed anything. And I was like, we had a talk then, like that the main goal was to make it through the season. Like that's what everybody kind of like, we were all on the same page about that. So I just am like, hey, look, I'm frustrated too. I promise. If you guys are frustrated, I'm triple the amount of frustration that you guys are. Like, you think that I enjoy battling back there with guys that I don't even know their names, dude? Like, no. I hate that. That frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Like, coming from winning the first race last year to coming through the pack and with 2 laps to go would have dominated Dallas. Like, it's so frustrating to be battling back there with guys who just, I mean, no offense to them, but frankly, I'm a better rider. That's just where I'm at right now. So I say that I'm a better rider than them, but I'm showing up right now, and that's just kind of where I'm at. But it's been a big piece of humble pie, like it's been a humbling deal, and something that I don't know if I, really regret like how the season's gone, just because it's been something different that I've had to figure out. It's been a new experience that I've kind of had to go through. And honestly, it really like, it really gives me respect to the guys who like are mid-pack guys who just keep showing up. It's easy to keep motivation and to go through these injuries and stuff with motivation of like, well, I went out winning. That's just a lot of motivation to use coming through injuries or going through stuff or whatever. Like this year, I've kind of been a mid-pack guy, and it is really, really, disheartening, I guess, to just keep showing up when the results aren't getting better, when getting a podium and a bonus, seems out of reach. So you're battling for even my best finish of the season, a 7th. What's the difference between a 4th to a 7th? I can tell you not much at all. There's a few points, but when you're not really a title contending guy, you know, and you're not on the podium battling for bonus checks, it's kind of, there's been certain points throughout the season to where it's like, I'm in, you know, whatever. I'm in, let's say, 9th, and I got, you know, 8th, 7th, and 6th all in front of me. And I'm going to have to push super hard. There's a couple laps left. I'm going to have to put it all out to maybe get one of them. It's almost like, what's the point? Where in the past, putting that extra effort in, putting that extra, you know, drive at the practice track, that extra effort late in the motos, it's been for a podium.
All right, I'm going to put my dad head on Austin for a minute. You're a dad now, right? So
yeah.
I'm going to say, when you say like kind of like what's the point? There's no bonus. There's no bonus check. Like finding the extra motivation. That extra motivation to get those next 2 or 3 spots and to fight through is so that in 3-4 rounds from now, next year, you're in that top 4 spot, and then you're like, okay, I pushed through. I broke through that shell. I'm on to the next stage. I figured that out. That's the motivation, is to get back to where you were.
Yep. And that's what in the last race, the one that I jumped into the tough block, like that race, I smashed my shoulder into the like landing of that off, and I was way back. The leaders came by,
yeah,
and I kind of had that little thought, just like, man, dude, I could just pull it in right now. Like the bike was bent up. I was kind of sore. I was way back, and I was way back by the time I got up. So it's like, I mean, best case scenario, I'm probably barely going to get inside the top 10, if that. So it's like, you know, kind of what's the point? But I put my head down and I charged, and I got taken out again. And then on the last lap, the guys in that stupid option turn that they had that was super, super tight on the outside, guys stacked up in there, and I hit them and kind of tipped over again. So I basically had 3 falls on the night. You know, bike was bent to hell. I think when I got taken out, ripped my handguard off that I was running. Like, you know, it was definitely a struggle, like main event, but I didn't give up, and I rode hard all the way till the end, and I showed good speed. And that was something that I was actually, that was about the first time this year that I was actually proud of how I rode in the main event.